like a lifetime. Everything. I mean, we're living the life, really. This week on the Geeky Gamer Podcast, we have a lot of excitement. Tonight, Eric McHugh. McHugh, I know I murder everybody's names. I should have asked him what his name was. We're going to be talking Web3, NFTs, RWA, e-commerce. Where is tech and retail right now? Bridging gaps. What is tokenization? And we're not talking Amazon. Amazon's rings of power. No way. This is like blockchain, merchandising, sourcing, community, leveling, playing fields for marketing, IT. Merchandising, business development. We'll hopefully discover how Platinums works. We'll talk ShopX and all sorts of like, what's the future? What about security? How do we make it work? How do we make a living? What the hell do any of these words actually mean? Because it's all very difficult. And how does it relate to gaming? Because we're everything is everything. Thanks for the score, all our lowercase letters, and Mr. Interrupt, our Patreon members, Tim Roberts, Daniel Holker, Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline, as well as Couchfire Media for all the art media production, and Trois Productions for
we actually don't know who they are. They just sort of appeared on our doorstep. We still receive their mail, actually, and no clue. They never lived here. Who is Trois Replay? And
who are these people?
You say what we're going to talk about tonight, but you damn well know we're not going to talk about any of that stuff.
It's all election coverage and Star Wars, right? Star Wars and election coverage.
We're talking about Star Wars tonight.
I don't know if we want to talk about Star Wars. They're taking that. They're really fucking that one up. They're screwing the pooch. And then you came in hot with those buzzwords.
I know the buzzwords. Hey, so everyone knows who we are. Eric, who are you?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Sweet.
Yeah, but nice to meet everyone. My name is Eric.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. Blessed to be living in beautiful Southern California. Hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, reading, anything under the sun, and meditation. And this is my one plug for this show. I just got back from a 10-day Noble Silence meditation retreat in Joshua Tree, California. Nice. It was the Vipassana method, completely free, a beautiful transformative experience. And if that aroused anyone's curiosity, highly recommend you check it out again. One of the best things I've ever done.
How do you find it?
There's a website, vimpasa.org. So just
Vimpasa, as in like Vimpossible, or is Vimpasa like a... I'm ignorant.
I don't... to that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's damna.org. So DHAMMA.org.
Domina.org.
DHMA.
Yeah, it's hard to spell. I can never spell right. DHAMMA.
Oh,
Dhamma.org.
Do not go to dhma.org. That is a completely different thing.
Yeah, so that's in the chat in the event.
Ooh.
You guys want to, check it out. Oh, Vipassana meditation.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's much different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
One of India's most ancient techniques of meditation.
Nice.
And when I showed up, I thought it was going to be some cold leg thing, and it wasn't. It was just pleasant.
Cool. That's awesome, man. It's good to actually find not bullshit.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it's 10 days, honestly. The only thing you do is meditate. It's a specific method. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever... it was actually the hardest thing I've ever done, but also one of the most beneficial. So check it out if you feel like it, or completely ignore it. That's up to you.
Is it in the heat, or are you like under the Bodhi tree, or what's going on?
So the way it's formatted is you show up to the center, and then they divide the females and the males into two different sections, and you have a meditation hall, a walking path, a dining hall, and your room. So you wake up 4:30, meditate.
Right, you wake up at 4:30 p.m. That's pretty sweet.
Nah, 4 a.m.
4 a.m. I'm
The
sorry.
reason-
What?
The reason
Go
for that is you're more access to the spiritual realm there. Scientifically, you have more melatonin in your system, so it's easier to meditate there.
Oh.
So you just
Right
wake up,
on.
meditate all day. Yeah, it's a good time.
Now, are you
That's why we do so well at 4:30 a.m. before we go to
Right.
sleep. That's what we're up
Right.
till 4:30 a.m.
There you go. I figured you guys are doctors.
that's what's going on. That's why I do.
Yeah, that's
why I do
exactly
so
why.
well.
You get that
witching hour.
space. Yeah, you get that headspace
Damn it.
in there. Go ahead.
So are you like in lotus position doing this? Are you like, upside down or standing there or laying down or what? On a pillow? Tell me.
You pick your position. So whatever position you want, you have a pillow. You have your same spot in the meditation hall. And
cool.
the first 3 days, you start off by focusing your attention around the area around your nose. Eventually, you start to pick up different sensations, and then you run your attention back and forth, scanning every inch of your body. And what this does is it extracts the traumas that you've had throughout your lifetime. So just like a NASA scientist trying to send a rocket into space, you need a metal to be 100% pure. You're just doing this on a spiritual level. So yeah, just do that over and over again. You get gnarly ass thoughts, like stuff you haven't thought about for years, people haven't thought about for years. Craziest dreams I've ever had. And overall, you leave just wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness. And the cool thing is, I think of the universe as like a reflection, aka like what you put out is what you get. So if you're trying to be kind or mean, it's beneficial for you to be kind. But yeah, you leave with it, wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness. And then it turns out people start wishing you peace, love, and happiness, and it kind of works out well, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
I could just be both. Really.
It's interesting, man. Did you get bored?
I mean, bored's not the way to think about it. So like it is a long ass time. Like the first day, you're just like, wait a second, 10 days of nothing, no talking with anyone, no looking at anyone, no writing, no phone, no nothing. But like when you start to sit quietly for a bit, what happens is you just got bombarded with thoughts. Then you kind of sit with those thoughts, and then you address each individual one, and eventually become lighter.
Yeah.
Generation Xers call that the 80s. And we had time to meditate. Like that's just what we did because there was nothing else to do. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but we didn't have computers. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have like you're done with school. It's summertime. You don't have your friends around. You get time to think. It's probably not the same.
We made up personal computers, man. Yeah. So are you allowed to? Is it like a dude with like a whip or like a thrashing stick if you fuck off or?
Yeah, no. If you fuck off, they pull you outside individually, and then you get 30 lashes depending on the severity of your crime.
Oh nice. Yeah.
I like that.
So can you walk around? Or
yeah, you can walk around. There's just nothing to do because you're in the middle of the desert. So there's a walking path. I'd probably walk that thing hundreds of times. I would just lie on the bench of the sun, just completely dirt out, just like nah. And then at night I would walk out the same walking path. Could have sworn I saw a bunch of ghosts, which was interesting. But yeah, I remember just specifically lying down on the bench, looking at the stars, seeing like thousands of shooting stars. I'm like, oh, this life is beautiful, which is super cheesy to say, but that's what happened.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And you say it's free.
Completely free. So the structure, and from a business perspective, is actually super interesting. So the structure, it's completely free. There's centers all across the world. It's run on donation base. So I donate to the center because it added great value to my life. But if you two wanted to donate to the center, you wouldn't be able to because you're not a student. So only students can donate, and the people who prepare the food, who cook the food, they're past students serving the present students. So it's completely self-run. And the guy, the guy who started it, some guy, and in turn, the teacher's a dead guy, which I found interesting. I didn't know. Walking into this, I was like, oh, what? Okay, he's dead. He's just a video recording. But he was a he's a business magnate in India. So he scaled this out across the United States and created a system for each individual center to be self-run. So if I were to kidnap both of you, if I were to drive to the valley, pick you up in the car, and drop you off at the center, with 5 minutes before next class started, you'd be able to do Dharma service without any directions because everything is just that documented, everything's that well run. So he created an interesting system. The type of people you meet there are really trippy too. Completely just everyone, all levels of walks. Like one of my homies was like, makes $5K a year. He does odd jobs. He just climbs rocks. That's what he does. My other friend was like ex Super Tech, like ex Facebook, ex LinkedIn, like helped build all those from the ground up. And yeah, it's funny, like, and he has a friend in the Chicago area. So what they did is they bought out the land next to the center over there, started growing cabbage. Now they supply the cabbage to the center. So it's funny, they went from like a tech exec role and now they're just straight cabbage farmers. If you watch Avatar, that's funny.
So do you actually talk to these people during the retreat?
Complete silence. So you're not supposed to look at anyone, no talking with anyone. And the reason for the complete silence is, let's say I break out of meditation for like an hour or so right now. The logical thing for me to do right after the meditation is I would check my phone, check my email, talk to people, and that reconnects me with society. But if you don't have any interaction, it's kind of one continuous long meditation. So the thoughts just keep on coming. So think of it as like a cleansing process.
And how many people at a time?
So I would say our class was around 120, 60 male, 60
Damn.
male.
It's a bunch of people.
Yeah, no, it's not a small amount.
Yeah.
I think
Could you
that's
just,
a big
like, live
deal
there?
though. Finding.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead. Could you just live there?
Probably. Actually, I can't see anyone kicking you out, because you would just kind of live there and then take care of the facilities and just kind of get fed.
Huh.
That's wild.
Well, see you later.
I mean, it's difficult to find headspace. We live in a world that we're just inundated by new and just more and more and pumped full of trauma on a daily basis. So yeah, I think anything you can do to find some peace, good, awesome. You know,
it's I would say the different word from being pumped full is you're being programmed.
Yeah,
and you're being programmed for a specific reason too. So
sure.
This might get kind of moved, but I think of everything in terms of frequency. So like there's a scale between 0 to 1,000. So if you're saying you're at an emotional state, like I'm angry, I'm shameful, I'm prideful, I'm hateful, you're saying I'm vibrating at this specific frequency. Whereas I'm loving, I'm joyous, I'm happy. They're all different frequencies. And just like a radio station, if you turn to that specific station, you get that frequency. So that's why angry people always attract angry people. Loving people always attract loving people. So that happens. And then there's an area too between 100 and 200. So that's of the area of like fear, hate, anger. So those negative emotions. But during those frequency ranges, that's when people are most likely to be controlled. So that's if there are powers that be, which obviously there are powers that be controlling everyone. If they wanted to keep control of a population, they would want to keep people in those certain states. So if you think about it, like why when I go on Twitter, why when I turn on the news, it's just like negative. It's because they're trying to keep people at a certain level as a way to control. But that's just my opinion. This is not proven right.
I think there's truth in that comment. I think people are very much more malleable when anger, things that trigger them to become angry, that is used in order to create an experience like a human condition or a social construct of some kind. So I mean, I'm with you. I feel that we learn through anger for sure. We make mistakes when we're angry and choose. It's a form of brain damage a lot of the time as well. I mean, and it leads to physical elements, like stress is just a murderer on your body. And it's just like anything that brings you down and takes you out of the optimal, for sure. Like you become more susceptible to thoughts that you would not necessarily connect with if you were in the perfect frame of mind or in a calm and peaceful frame of mind, for sure.
Yeah. And on your point on stress, I think that's very important too, because I think stress is slowly killing everyone. So let's say we're back in caveman days. Like if we're being chased by a lion, obviously we're stressed out by the lion, but as soon as the lion's gone, the stress is going away. But nowadays with people in their office lives, with their general lives, the lion is the coworker next to them or their boss next to them. So they're in that constant state of stress. And a person in stress is literally producing different chemicals than a person in a calm mindset. And those chemicals are they're not meant to be sustained through your life. So I think that's a big cause for a bunch of the diseases and what's happening right now. So I think, and on top of that, when you're in stress, you can't really make the best decision anyway. So being stressed doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anyone. I'm a believer of like, if it doesn't serve you, let it go. And an important point I want to touch on, just because I think it adds value to everyone, is a while ago I realized that my base layer is happiness. So my base layer is peace, love, and happiness. So if that's my base layer, how do I go to my base layer? It's very simple. You just relax into it, which is easier said than done in specific situations. But if that's your core, yeah, it works for me. May not work for someone else, but hopefully it does.
Yeah. And they're good. There's good stress. I mean, because I think Bill and I we're gamers. We enjoy gaming. I mean, I don't play video games. It's mostly TTRPGs and role playing games and stuff like that. But I'm having a group of friends over Saturday to play a board game, and you know, it's
really shitty board
it's
game.
stressful. It's stressful. Yeah, it's you know, Bill is completely against this game, but it's super stressful. But I think it's a good kind of stress that, you know, the consequences of losing, they're not so bad. It's just like when Bill loses at chess, you know, it makes him feel better.
I've gone through a few
chess.com.
Yeah, I'm on chess.com. And I do we should. I do a live stream on YouTube doing my chess journey of losing like a big old person who's not good at chess. So yeah,
it's fun though. I mean,
check it out.
Chess is a good. I will check it out. Chess is a good hobby. And what I did is I replaced like a negative with a positive. So like, if you think of your diet as just everything you consume, so the people around you, the food you eat, the content you consume. So if you eat good food, you feel good. If you eat bad food, you feel bad. The content is the same way. So if you're consuming garbage content, which is a lot of what social media is, you're going to feel like garbage. So I was taking a poll of like my Instagram account. I was like, okay, let me go on Reels. Let's see how much of this adds value to my life. Turns out it's 0, but I'm also 30 years old. So I've been trained to be addicted to social media. So now that's what caused me to download chess.com. So I download chess.com. It's between Instagram and Twitter. So whenever I feel the need to mindlessly scroll, I go there and then I just play chess instead of just going on social media, which has had some net benefits. And yeah, chess is pretty fun. It does suck when you go on a losing streak though. You're just like, God, I'm retarded.
I mean, it's one of those things like, so I the channel I do is Chess with Bill. And the idea is I saw a couple people streaming and I was like, you know, I could do that. But why would I? Well, I want to get better at chess. And I like to do things that have synergy. So it's actually towards a product, you know, or a project at least. The idea being, well, I'm trying to build this channel. I'm trying to build a community of people because, so I stream extremely late at night, right? Maybe like midnight, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 in the morning, which means most of the people that are on there, they're not in the United States or Canada or whatever, or Mexico. They're in like India or Nepal or Australia or Romania. And I'm meeting all of these people. My chess coach is from South Africa. Coolest dude in the world. And I would never have met these people if I didn't stream, you know, on chess. So yeah, I'm not very good. My ELO thing is like 900. So
okay, well, you're beating me. I'm 700s, but no, that's cool because I think that's one of those things. Like, I think one of the most important things people can be is authentic. And I think the reason that sounds cheesy, but I think the reason authenticity is so important is I think everyone's happiest when they're serving other people. Like, give out $20 versus taking $20. Obviously, giving out feels much better. And the thing about authenticity is like, I have my individual gifts. You guys have your individual gifts. If you try to be me, you can't beat me at being me. But if I try to be you, I can't beat you at being you. So if logically you're trying to serve the most amount of people, the only way to do that is to be your authentic self. And so I think what you do there is when you're being authentic, you attract the right people. So I think you attracted your chess coach. Whereas like if you decide not to stream or not being authentic, he would have never came into your life. And he sounds like he's had a positive impact. And who knows, that positive impact could have had a positive impact on you, just subconsciously, and then that could have rubbed off on someone else in your life, and that could have rubbed off on someone else in their life, creating a chain reaction of positivity. So
that's really cool. All right, so as I said before, Ken stated all the things we were going to definitely talk about.
Still might.
And of course, we're not talking about any of them. What were those buzzwords again? Since we're talking about vibrations and authenticity and living good, let's talk about crypto.
Well, I mean, what, Web3, NFT, mining?
Oh, fucking Web3. All right, I'm going to suspend
RWA,
my judgment.
Middle Earth.
I don't know what RWA is.
Tokenism, hobbits.
Lord of the Rings go to series, all right? They can't do what they did to Lord of the Rings to what they're doing to Star Wars. I don't think we'd allow that. That'd be criminal.
I don't think you have a choice. I worked in the industry a long time. You get what you get. You get what you get. You don't get what you want. Anybody.
He cannot resist.
Anybody
cannot for long, and I'll explain to you why. Because
right now, do it. Flip the script.
They're butchering a bunch of stuff that we love, and they're making gay and stupid. But now with AI, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to shove that down your face. Like, I didn't ask for it, but it is what it is. But now what they're doing with AI, you know how you can create videos with AI, and they're obviously kind of shitty right now, but they're gonna get good. So in the near future, I'm gonna be able to take my favorite comic book, like God King Doom. Like, they would never do that correctly. They would make it so terrible. But now I can take that comic book. In the future, I'm going to take that comic book, the actual comic book, plug it through an AI machine, and it's going to create a movie based on the comic book. And then
what you want to happen, and you put in the parameters, and we're all here just enjoying what we want. We get what we want. There's no you don't have to deal with because I kind of see what you're saying.
We're sliding into Web3, right?
Yeah, we're talking about leveling the playing field and making it accessible, and so you don't have to pay to play. You don't have to have a big investment.
They'll make it commercial.
Yeah,
they'll make it commercial.
But I mean, AI is not. I mean, you can still get AI free.
It will be. It will be commercialized. I mean, just like the internet was free and then it was commercialized. Web3, I've done a little bit of research. Web3, I've done a little bit of research on. But since we have you here, Eric, what is Web3?
And what is Web2? And what the hell is Web1? Sorry.
Oh, it's almost like we have a perfect segue into some speech.
And we did.
100 times, yes. So Web 1, just think of it as read only. So you can go online, you can read stuff, which is great. Web 2, the easiest way to frame that is social media. So you can read and write, but you can't own. So just think of Instagram. I can read a post, or I can write a post. Either of you can interact with that post, but Instagram owns that post. So if Instagram can sell our data, they can cancel us for any particular reason. And in Web 3, it's read, write, and own. So you can read content, you can write content, and you can own content. So my area of expertise is e-commerce. Let's say I launch a e-commerce store. I create a Web 3 product in the form of a loyalty pass or a tokenized product. I give you, one of you purchases the loyalty pass. You take me off as a customer. Even though you take me off as a customer, I can't take it away from you. It's your pass. Any government or social media company can't take it away from you because it's your pass. It's yours. It's yours, and you can do what you will with it. And I have a perfect segue to relate Web 3 to gaming. If whenever you want me to drop it, I think it's pretty funny too.
Do it.
Okay, cool. So the in Web 3, everything is based off Ethereum. That's a cryptocurrency. So its ticker is ETH. It was invented by a guy named Vitalik Buterin. So he's some Russian, probably autistic guy, honestly, like Chad level intelligence. So the reason he invented Ethereum is because his World of Warcraft character got nerfed. So that ticked him off. So he created Ethereum. So now that's how they kind of relate.
Now ETHs go straight into NFTs, right? Or
Yeah,
Ethereum goes straight into
Yeah, so NFTs, you can just, those are non-fungible tokens. So you can just think of them as like a piece of private property in cyberspace. So just like, let's say I had a piece of land outside of my house. I can build a garden, I can do nothing with it, I can build a business, I can build a school, it's up to me. So NFTs are just that individual one-on-one piece of land in cyberspace. So you as a creator get to decide what to build with it or what value to add. And NFTs, honestly.
I was just gonna just slow you down a little bit. I think a lot of people associate NFTs with art, but it is not necessarily they're not lockstep. It can an NFT can be anything, or am I making that up?
No, it can be a lot of things. The art is the easy one to associate with because like it's a rare product. There's one of them. You can add an NFT to authenticate, add authentication. But no, you can turn out like NFTs are just a term. People are still. The cool thing about Web3 is it's a completely new industry, so people are still fucking around with it, trying a bunch of things. A lot of things will fail, but a lot of things will succeed. So like you can turn a product into an NFT. You can create at its core, an NFT is a connection between a creator and a consumer. So whatever form the creator and the consumer take, that's up to them. So it could be the artist to the owner. It could be a sports team to the fan. It could be an e-commerce brand to their customer. Once they own that NFT, there's a relationship between them and they can send value each other's way.
Okay. What?
Soupy Jones says hello on the Twitch.
Hi, Soupy. So I got a question. I got a couple questions. Everything you said, I do understand, but I don't think I understand the implications. Which, since it's a new industry, maybe all the implications are not understood. Let's start with this question. How do you? So I'm a programmer. I understand read only. I understand read, write, execute. And when we get into read, write, and own, I understand owning stuff. You know, I own this phone. You know, I own this mouse, this new one. I threw the other one across the room and broke it because I was mad. I understand this little pendant thing that my girlfriend gave me. It's like a cat holding a butcher's knife. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
It's kind of cool.
It's cool as shit. No, I haven't named it yet, but I really like it. I understand owning things. I get owned on chess. I get it. So what is it? Come on, it was funny. I don't understand. What do you mean owning stuff online?
Yeah, so in terms of owning stuff online, just think everything online is public, but only certain people get access to that thing online. So you could just think of it, the way I would describe it is think of it as like a key. So you have a wallet address, and each wallet address is linked to a private key, and only that one private key can have access to your digital assets. So whether it be cryptocurrency or NFTs, everything is public, but only one person or one wallet can send or program that digital asset. So it's more so just access. Only one person has access to it online.
Okay, so here's a bad example, but my email works similarly to that.
Your email works similar to that in the sense, except Google can just come in and cancel your email and do whatever it wants with that. So just think of that email without the Google.
Yeah, that's a Web 2 way of thinking, buddy.
Yeah. See, this was the trap. This was the trap that I'm laying. So I realized that, Ken. The thing is that everything online is actually just on a computer somewhere.
Sure.
So why could someone not just turn off the server, or someone's going to own the computer where your NFTs are? So it's not Google, but it's somebody.
Yeah, no, for example, like if I wanted to be a nefarious actor, if I wanted to cancel Gmail, I could just take over Google servers and turn all those servers, and then everyone with a Gmail account at that point would be kind of fucked. But
it'd be a casual taking over Google.
You're
casually taking it over.
Naughty dog, take it over.
I'm bored on a Wednesday. They banned me on
YouTube. It's possible. It's
I
possible.
think I'm gonna shut down world communication.
Right, but the thing is, like, so how does that differ from in this NFT thing? Because I get that in NFT, you know, in the idea of blockchain, and I'm showing my ignorance here. So I'm not arguing.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't understand the difference of, I can authenticate myself to my Gmail account, for example, or to anything that's online, anything that you log into, which is everything. I know because I always forget my passwords. And technically those people could shut it down. I used to live in China. They know how to shut shit down in China, okay? However, anything online could be shut down. Someone's going to own it. And if they don't own the NFT, the digital idea, the woo-woo where,
Yeah.
they definitely own the physical part, which is a computer or the power plant if we want to get deep and dirty. So how is that any different? Go.
Yeah, so in terms of Web3 and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and Ethereum, yes, you could shut down the computer and then that will kill the network. The problem with that is the network is decentralized in the form of mining. So there are miners all across the world. So you have to do a coordinated attack, shut down all of those miners that have been running. And I think a while ago it reached the point where it can't be shut down. So even if all the governments were to coordinate, they would have to coordinate. And this point already passed. They'd have to coordinate effectively and then shut them all down at the same point in time. But the cool thing about cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin in particular, is it's an anti-fragile system, meaning whatever doesn't kill it makes it stronger. And it's been tried to get killed over and over again, and it just adapts and evolves. And on top of that, in terms of, in terms of that, the incentive structure too, it's like, the governments could, because at this point, like no individual or no individual company, maybe BlackRock, they're kind of shitty, but no individual company could shut them down. But they're more incentivized to join the network to reap the rewards. So yes, the United States probably wants to shut down Bitcoin because if they were Bitcoin, they don't have access to unlimited money. They can't do their things on the background. Whereas they're like, but then there are other countries who are incentivized to join the network to strengthen it. So like El Salvador, they joined, they're mining Bitcoin. Now they're adding strength to the network. So it's growing over and over again. It's getting more and more decentralized. And every second that goes by, it gets a little stronger.
It sounds like, go on.
Oh, no, I think it just passed the point of no return. But yeah, if the internet shut down, then Bitcoin kind of dies. But if the worldwide internet shut down, I think we have bigger problems to worry about.
Yeah, well, having experienced several crashes throughout my lifetime, point of no return happens surprisingly often. Just throwing that out there. 2, 3, maybe 4 times in my life of less than 50 years. So, what it has staying power, and I'm sure are lots of measures in place to have staying power. But I think ultimately it's the people that believe in the subject matter that keeps it in. So if there are enough people that agree that this is a good plan, it'll keep going. And the way I take it, what you're saying is that there is security in place, and it's a safe way to do business.
And the security in place, honestly, is the people. And the cool thing about Bitcoin is, again, like something may come up, but then the people, the community around it can figure out something to solve that issue. And the reason Bitcoin is so powerful in terms of just absorbing community, absorbing people's mind space, is there's also that financial aspect too. Like, for example, most people, why do they get into cryptocurrency? Like, oh, free internet money. That sounds cool. I want free money. So they join Bitcoin, they buy their first amount of cryptocurrency, they buy like $5-10 for this, whatever. But then they see a pump, they see a dump, and those fluctuations in price, it draws their attention, and then they start researching why. Then they start researching the Fed, and like, oh, this is actually really good for society. And then they become rabid animals, telling all their friends and family about it, getting super annoying, and then it just spreads that way.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard about Bitcoin, it had to have been early mid-aughts, and I really should have bought some then.
Okay,
but you couldn't just buy it. You couldn't just. It wasn't like a thing. You had to like figure out.
It was hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
I still have a couple questions. So I do understand the idea of you can't shut it down, but I don't understand completely the idea of owning. I'm going to take a leap. Are you saying that Web3 allows you to do this thing called owning whatever your content is? Because it would be so difficult to take down that you always have access.
Yeah, so let's say you, so in Web3, everything's run by wallets. Wallets, so you can just think of it as a key. Each wallet has an individual key to a piece of content. So let's say you launched a Web3 product, like you launch a smart contract, you launch an NFT collection. That NFT could be a video stream. So let's say this podcast is an NFT, and each end is divided into 6 sections. Each section is a different NFT. So there are 6 owners, like I own one, you own one, Ken owns one. Every time and now you know who owns your podcast, who supported you. So now there's a connection between you as the podcast host and your favorite fans. You become the biggest podcast in the world. You're like, okay, these are my OGs. I support them. Here's some free backstage passes. Here's some merchandise. Here's whatever I want. But let's say my brother is getting jealous. He's like, why does Eric have the Geeky Gamer Podcast NFT? I really want it. So the only way for him to get it will be either to hack the whole network or just physically take it from you. He can't just hire someone. He can't just. It's not like how Google can just like take your content and send it. It'd be stuck with him.
It sounds like autonomy, not owning, or maybe it is still owning. But if someone were to say this is autonomy, you have autonomous information that you're in control of, which is another way of saying you own it. I kind of understand that.
But it helps with profit sharing. So like you don't have to pay for Amazon to like step in and take a percentage,
Interesting. That's interesting.
If you wanted to, the music example I like is like, let's say hypothetically, I think this will be a thing in the future, is like, let's say I like AC/DC. I own a piece of Thunderstruck. Great. I own the first 5 seconds. Every time Thunderstruck gets paid on the radio, I could get my royalties that way. And then because of the micropayment nature of cryptocurrency, you get paid instantly. So that's a cool thing. And in terms of like sending it down, the example I like to use is Tupac, because when he died, the record labels they took everything and nothing went to his family. If for a cryptocurrency, you could directly pass it down to his family, keeping the value within the people who created it. So like,
I didn't know that. I mean, I believe that. I didn't. I believe.
I was on a random music-based podcast, and the guy was going off. I was like, yeah, they completely screwed. I'm like, well, and like you, I'm just like, yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I've known a lot of record people in my life. Yeah, there's Interscope. Ooh.
So I have 2 questions, 2 ideas here.
Do it.
One, whenever I hear about Bitcoin or NFTs or Forex or any of those types of things, it seems to be piggybacked with the new scam. All right. So there's a lot of scammy business that goes along in all the world, but specifically when it comes to crypto. Now, I am not saying that cryptocurrency is a scam. I'm just saying it just seems to be associated with it a lot. So there's that aspect that I would like you to address, if you wouldn't mind. The second, one of the reasons that it seems at times scammy is because it sounds so good, but then it's like, great, so how do you do it? How do you get into it in a safe way? So those are the 2 ideas I wanted to posit to you.
No, it sounds scammy because of cryptocurrency. I would say 90% of all cryptocurrency projects have been scams. So if you hear about cryptocurrency being scammed, that makes perfect sense. But I want to say the scam narrative is also more pushed uniformly across the media, because cryptocurrency inherent, it takes away power from the state, it takes away power from the governments, it takes away power from the big tech. So if they're the ones controlling the news, of course, whenever there's a scam, whether it be manufactured or not, they're going to push that. And to elaborate on that point, the reason why it's so powerful is I think cryptocurrency incentivizes value creation versus value extraction. So I think of money as just a neutral thing. You can make money in a good way, make money in a bad way. Well, if you make money in a bad way, karma comes back to bite you. But let's say if I want to become as rich as possible without doing any work, what do? I place myself right next to the money printer, aka the Federal Reserve. I extract as much value as I can. I give it to my friends in government. Now there's 3 of us in power. The 3 of us in power will now defeat the 3 people who don't have access to limited money, now creating a corruption system from the top. And that's because value extraction is rewarded in our current society. Whereas if Bitcoin is a standard, value creation is incentivized. So like, let's say, for example, I want some of your Bitcoin, which if you have Bitcoin, I would love your Bitcoin. There's only one way for me to get your Bitcoin, and that's for me to produce something of value for you, and then you send me your Bitcoin. So if everyone is thinking along those lines, just in our generation, that creates a better society. But like, I think that'll have compounding effects 2, 3, 4 generations down the line. And AI is just a tool where people can leverage their natural talents to create products and services faster for everyone. So that just expedites that. But yeah, so that's why
value of extraction over value of
incentivize value creation versus incentivize value extraction. And if you want an example, just look at anyone in the United States government. They just kind of take it.
I take.
Sure.
Is this anti-disestablishmentarianism?
No.
Are we talking about anti-disestablishmentarianism?
No, I mean, I do. There are two little points in there that I wanted to just to go back to just for 1 second. The money and karma thing made me laugh because that's inherently not true. You could do evil things to people and get away with it all day long, and America's proof of that. Anyway, beyond that, it's
like your soul suffers.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, what is soul when you're on your yacht and it doesn't matter? That's not me. I'm not saying it's you. I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying that that's our society. We live in an I got mine. You get a little place, you feel comfortable, you're set for a while. It's fine. I'm not into exploiting people, but the reason I am not successful is that I do not exploit enough people. I feel like where I could have made choices in my life to be more exploited. In my heart. So I mean, yeah, I think that we all have our own ethics and morality that we sit in. But I want to come back. So why not just use the dollar? Why Bitcoin over what has been used for years and years and years? Is it a morality thing or is it a structure thing? Because it certainly elevates Bitcoin or like some other type of cryptocurrency over that of the United States dollar or government currency in general. It takes away those lines, the country borders and stuff like that. But it also could, potentially hurt infrastructure in America and the United States because none of this stuff can be taxed or is necessarily taxed. Or, it takes a lot of money that it was generated somehow, like that people believe in, and it puts it somewhere else, like Panama Papers or something like that, where we're just funneling wealth into obscurity.
You have dollars in your wallet right now?
I don't actually have any cash.
Do you have dollars in your bank? Do you have your dollars in your bank account right now?
I know it's just digital nonsense.
So from the time we've been talking, your dollars are now worth less.
I believe you. I feel that every day. Absolutely.
So that'd be my main reason for suggesting switching to Bitcoin, because at least the staying power, your dollars will increase over time as opposed to reduce in purchasing power over time. And where's your purchasing power going? That the purchasing power of dollars is getting taken from the Federal Reserve. A lot of it's, yes, some of it is going to roads, some of it's going to schools. They're doing a very poor job with it, but a lot of it's going enriching a certain class of people, funding two sides of war and killing a bunch of innocents. So Bitcoin or gold, for that matter, gold works as well too. It attaches like a realism to the dollar where people just can't spend infinitely of someone else's money. Like, for crying out loud, the US debt right now is 30 trillion. That's not something we can pay off, and Bitcoin helps solve that. In terms of the taxing thing, I think Bitcoin is actually extremely taxable. I think it's taxable because it's an open ledger. So it's not you can mass surveil, but you can do detective work. So the reason I like Bitcoin too is it's a two-way street. So right now, the current structure of people looking to make money is the people at top. They mass scan everyone, monitoring every single transaction, and then picking and choosing. It's like, oh, you're bad, go away. Whereas if we try to look up, we have no idea where our money is being spent. But in a Bitcoin world, it works both ways. So yeah, it's pseudonymous, meaning like I have my address, you have your address, you have your address. So you can see address activities. But if I really need to narrow down an address, I can find that address and use normal detective work to find out who the person is doing the wrongdoing, supporting terrorism, doing tax fraud. And I can find that person while not mass surveilling everything. And on the flip side, if we look back up, like let's say the government, we're using Bitcoin or public ledger, we can see where our money is being spent, which I think is very important considering like a lot of our money is just being wasted. I know in California there's like an $8 billion bridge to nowhere that just got built. I think you saw where it's like why did you do that? Or like Biden's $5 billion.
Well, they needed to. They needed to spend the money.
Well, they were trying to build some
money
mass
is just
transit.
money
I think
is a representation.
They were trying to build.
Right?
That was a train, right? They had a. That's what the bridge was. They were trying to build infrastructure to. I mean, I don't know. We're talking way off of.
Right. So I wanna ask him a question because I know has a limited time.
Okay.
How do you get into Bitcoin?
Yeah, so the easiest way to buy Bitcoin is to go on Coinbase, create an account, buy $5 worth, and I think it's extremely important to buy a small amount because you have skin in the game. Why would you learn more? Why would you learn about something you have no skin in the game? It's hard to care if you don't own anything. So you buy that amount, and then you own that amount, and then you research at your own pace if that's something you want to do.
Now, how does that's kind of. I think it's good advice.
I think it's interesting.
I'm a programmer. Okay, so in programming, do you program at all?
No.
Okay, so this is what happens. You want to learn something, and so you're like, how do I use this programming language? So you find the documentation for it, and it's called the docs. And so you'll go to a website like Stack Overflow, those people, and people will ask questions, right? And then they get dogged, and they're like, didn't you read it in the docs? So it's all about, well, I mean, you're just lazy if you didn't read it in the docs. Go to the docs. And the docs are always terrible. You're always looking around forever. No one will give example. It's in the docs. Go fuck yourself. Stack Overflow, and you sons of bitches. At any rate. So how do you get into Bitcoin? Well, you download this app, give them money, and then research it. Can you give me something else? Give me more. I want some meat.
Wait.
I want some meat.
The NFT, it was a security question. The NFT is always connected to that same person. That is what you're saying security-wise? Like that's how you police it. It's this entity, this digital fingerprint is connected to you.
So we all have a wallet address. The NFT is owned by a particular wallet address. You can make it so each individual NFT is owned by multiple, but that's something you have the choice to do. So let's say I own an NFT, I send it to you, and then he sends it to you. There's a trail of that, and they could trace it back to me if they do some detective work. And to your point, yes, some of the docs are terrible. I mean, if you think Web 2 docs are bad, try working with like a Web 3 software. Like our devs complain, they say it's probably the worst thing ever. But no, like
so that's what I'm getting at. Go on.
Yeah, no. But it's different. So like I think it's like if you want to learn about something, you actually have to try to learn about something. And there's plenty of information available. You can go on YouTube, you can read a book.
Just go to the internet, man. Just get on there and get in there. Okay, so I got on Coinbase back in 2019, 20, something like that. And I think I bought maybe $100 some odd of Ethereum. I had like a minuscule amount of Bitcoin because why not? And it went down. It never reached higher numbers. And I kind of sat there thinking, truth be told, did I really do my due diligence with understanding Coinbase? I started getting this prickly feeling, which was there were commercials about Coinbase. There were commercials about, there's one with like a Foxzilla or something, or what is it called?
That's MetaMask.
MetaMask. With MetaMask, with Robinhood was a big one. And then all these things start coming about where it's like, hey, technically on Robinhood, you don't actually own any of the things you technically are supposed to own. And is it true? Is it not true? And I was like, this seems like it seems like it's the hot thing. Everyone's into it. It's fashionable to be into. And that means maybe I don't want anything to do with it. And so I have a great distrust for it because I'm like, it's not there's all this information. Okay, where? What's on the online? Where? Like, point me to. If I wanted you to get into something, I could point you to a reference to be like, hey, this is how you can get into it and you can trust it. That's what I'm looking for. Because I would love to get into Bitcoin. but what's the safe way to do it?
Okay, so go on Coinbase, create an account, buy your Ethereum, buy your Bitcoin, then buy a hardware wallet. So a hardware wallet's just a USB
A
hard
hardware
drive.
wallet.
Yeah, so but that's an extra step of security. So you own your hardware wallet, then you send your cryptocurrency out from Coinbase to your hardware wallet, and then you're the only one with access to it. Coinbase, Robinhood, you don't actually own the Bitcoin. They could if they wanted to. They could say, nah, it's not yours anymore. They can do what they want, and that's pretty much all the things that FTX did. But once you get to the hardware wallet, once you have that, it's yours and only you're in control of it. So Coinbase to Trezor is the direct path.
So Coinbase is a broker, I assume?
Coinbase is the onboarding ramp. So that's how
It's
you
an onboarding ramp.
Yeah, it's an onboarding ramp. So it's the easiest way because you can create an account pretty easily, link your bank account. That's why most people are comfortable with it. But then you want to send it off to yourself. But not everyone should do that too, to be honest.
Can you skirt around Coinbase and just have your hardware wallet and get coins that way? Or do you have to use something like Coinbase?
No, so you don't have to use something like Coinbase. So Coinbase is an exchange or authorized reseller. So like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, those are the big ones.
Binance,
you have to go to KYC, then you create your account, and then you purchase your coins that way. But no, you can use decentralized exchanges too, which are pretty much automated market makers. So you can go to Uniswap or something like that, just with a hardware wallet with no KYC, and then you can purchase coins that way, and they're linked to your Trezor.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's so much information. I think that's what makes it scary. You know, like you kind of need to know what you're doing, or else you could really screw yourself over.
No, 100% agree. And like in Web3 is all about ownership, which is a fancy word. And yes, that does have its benefits. But I would say the direct double-sided sword of that is like, let's say I send my Bitcoin to someone else. Like, let's say my mom sends her Bitcoin to someone else. Like, you can't exactly call JP Morgan Chase and be like, like we lose our passwords all the time. It's really annoying because then you reset your password, you change one letter, and then you forget it again. It's just a never-ending process. But with cryptocurrencies, there's not that. If you lose your private keys, you send your Bitcoin to somewhere else, you have the ownership, but it's donezo. So for massive, and I think that's a problem that has to be solved. Like, again, I'm like, the space is completely new. So I think Web3 should always have the option. Like for me, like I'll always want to custodian my own assets. I want to have 3 different private keys accessing one cryptocurrency for extra security, just because that helps me sleep at night. But would I recommend my mom to do that? No, I think she should just have a Coinbase account, and she owns the cryptocurrency on Coinbase, and she keeps it there. So there has to be some sort of hybrid solutions that come out in the future where it empowers everyone to join the space, and maybe they have trusted brokers like their banks, but in crypto version. But with the option, because having the option to take it off, that kind of keeps them honest too. Because like, if we all go to our bank, we all withdraw all our money, they don't have enough money, the bank fails.
They can't do it.
Yeah, with cryptocurrency, there's that check and balance that's naturally in place, and it makes auditing the bank, auditing the Fed much easier. But like I said, it's a growing space. The UI is complete ass. The incentives sent to the space also complete ass. The docs, the dev work, complete ass. But that's something we just have to build through. And for crypto to be mass adopted, you have to take out our phone, tap, 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 all done on the back end, and everything's good.
And what backs crypto?
What do you mean?
Right. So showing some ignorance, but it's showing the ignorance I think a lot of people have about crypto. Why could the US from after World War II become at the time the most quotes powerful state that there is? Well, part of it is that they took the gold backing away and were able to make money, right? As in, credit allows them to create, well, dollars that literally don't exist. And what is a dollar?
Faith, and it's faith is what that is.
But there is something freeing and untethering about being able to make money just a concept. But the evil of that is, well, who's in control of it? And also it's not worth anything if you break it down to brass tacks, right? Crypto, what is it backed by?
Also faith. all monetary, everything has value because we give it value. So, for example, I lost faith in the US dollar because they're just printing too much of it. If Bitcoin were to magically print another, like there's 21 million Bitcoin, if they were to print an extra 10, I would lose faith in it and I think it would fail.
Yeah, but the Bitcoin is monitored. You can only print so much at a time, like only so much.
No printing,
it's
right?
a limited. Well, the way it generates, I guess, the way it's mined and stuff like that, it's limited.
So it's
releases.
So are we
through
correct
time.
in this? Is it backed? Like there are safeguards to only have so many Bitcoin.
Correct. Slightly less than 21 million Bitcoin will only ever exist if, in my opinion, more Bitcoin does magically exist or someone hacks the protocol, then Bitcoin is dead in the water, as it should be.
I see, and that is how it's backed. As in,
Correct.
it's like I never played, but it's like Magic the Gathering cards, right? Like the ones like the Black Lotus and shit. Like,
I could have bought some house. I'm telling you, different.
You know, and they can't break that. If they do, they ruin the game.
Broken.
Yeah,
they ruin the game. Interesting, man.
No one's to ruin a game.
I'm really interested in it. I'm highly skeptical, but did I say that word right? Skeptical.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, anti-disestablishmentarianism, I completely got wrong as to what that means, and I feel like a dummy.
I mean, there's some of that in there.
No, there's not. So disestablishmentarianism, the establishment is talking about the Church of England.
Oh,
okay. So disestablishmentarianism is the movement to end the Church of England's status as the official church in the United Kingdom. Thus, anti-disestablishmentarian is against that. It has nothing to do with what I ever thought it did.
Yeah,
I had to fact check there. Holy crap. I was wrong. It sounds cool, but it's not what I thought it was.
It sounds correct, but
I mean the idea is there. This is a rebellion against the norm. It is a way for this generation to get in at a ground floor where, like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the peaks are unattainable. Like we have this financial curve, and the US and increasingly around the world, where even the rich people are right here, and like the really rich people are way the fuck over here. So, I mean, to me, that's what this is. It's a way to restructure society from the old guard to the new, and just redistribute wealth in a way that could potentially level a playing field for a lot of people. Say, for instance, let's bring it to gaming. Let's bring it to Bill and Ken, because that's all we really care about. We want our enterprises to make money. How do we take our stream and turn it into an NFT? How do we make this profitable? Because it isn't, and because we're paying for it, but we're using assets. We're using Google, we're using, big companies to host our stuff. And if we didn't use it, we'd have even less. So how do we make this world change from just us throwing digits out there to something worth something?
Oh no, the reason I don't know is because I don't know you guys' brand well enough. So the cool thing about Web3 and cryptocurrency is, again, like it's a new space. A bunch of people are trying a bunch of shit, throwing it at the wall. Some people are failing. Some people are succeeding. So to answer your own question, that'd be a question for you. So what I would suggest is if you wanted to create a connection with like hardcore fans, create a private section in your Discord channel, give them exclusive content, give them merch. That could be a way to create instant revenue and have a core customer base to start. But let me turn it back on you. What do you think you could do with it? Make it profitable?
I mean, it's infrastructure. We don't have marketing departments. We don't have people. We have Bill and myself, and we don't have the time to really build up that. So we would have to pay somebody marketing to invest into whatever a strategy would be, and we would have to go through the hundreds of different things in social media playing their game and their land is basically what we're doing now. We're playing their game, but you know, there has to be a draw somewhere there, and really I guess I'm kind of looking for bigger picture. Yes, you might need more information about us, but you know, take something that has already existed and maybe use that strategy and finding somebody who's found their success. I mean, because I have videos that have gotten 30. I was looking at one of my videos the other day. It's got 35 million views, and I get zero. I got zero from that, you know? So I'm just wondering how, like, where we get this stuff set as an NFT or as giving this our fingerprint. So if somebody else uses it, like, how do we get that into a system? What is the process? What is the point of taking all this that we do, people on TikTok, people everywhere do, and make it, because there are things like TuneCore for music where you post some music on there and you're in their system and stuff like that. I don't know if that's could be.
Well, you got to let them answer.
Too much. Yeah, go ahead.
No, the short answer, it's not built yet, so there's no easy way for you to upload a podcast and turn that to NFT, but that's all being built in the background. So what ShopX does is we allow brands to directly within Shopify, directly within WooCommerce. They may, because again, like let's say both of you or any e-commerce brand, if they want to create an NFT collection, what do? You have to hire a marketing person, you have to hire a developer, you have to hire a bunch of people for something that may or may not work. If you're not putting in effort, it's not going to work. So what we've done in the backend is we've simplified that process. So now a brand, anyone on Shopify can download our app and then directly within the Shopify backend, launch their NFT collection. And then since we're launched within Shopify, they can add or take away e-commerce products and discounts to that NFT. And then if their customer wants that NFT, they're like, okay, well, I like this brand. I support them. I want this product. They purchase that NFT. And now there's a connection between that customer and then the customer and the brand. The brand A gets an extra stream of revenue right off the bat before shipping out a single product. They know how much product to roughly make, because if they know the conversion rate of NFT holders to buying the product, they can be like, okay, well, I have 80% conversion rate. I have 400 holders. That means 300 will make that purchase. So I can produce 300 products. I know how much to make that. Or I can sell like 150 product to generate hype, because I'm like, okay, it's guaranteed to sell out, create hype, create FOMO, create more people to buy that product. And on top of that, it turns people into somewhat of a marketing department for the brand because of the ownership. So in our examples, like we have a couple brands who do this. Our biggest one's Fox TV, but we've worked with a couple clothing brands as well. Because they own that NFT, if they want to sell it on the secondary market, they can. If they want to sell for a profit, they can totally do so. And then you as a brand can program in yourself royalties for that. So the cool thing is, like, let's say your brand shoots up, or any brand using ShopX shoots up, the value of the NFT shoots up. So they're sharing the wealth with their customers, and if they sell it, they can. And in terms of, and then on top of that, because of the ownership aspect, you feel like you're part of the brand. Like some of the clothing brands have specific Discord channels for their customers, for their NFT holders are communicating with that. Their holders can pitch products, they can help design products. Fox's show, the Cropopolis or Crap Chicken Makes show up in the show. So you can do a bunch of things with that. Yeah.
And can I
that, like,
cool.
Can I get you to go back just because I don't think we caught the beginning of that. ShopX is what you're talking about. And what is ShopX?
ShopX is a way for Web 2 brands to onboard into the Web 3 space. So right now we do NFT powered loyalty programs, as well as creating digital to physical product links. So we've done that with a couple luxury items like McLaren's, Ferraris, mainly because they're flashy and make the splash.
Sure. But how does the consumer get into this? Is there an integration into web? We're pretty early days here, right? It's in development, or is there a rollout anytime soon of where this we're going to start seeing things navigate away from Google and Facebook and Amazon?
No, it's just going to be a simple web page. So for the brand side, like let's say a Shopify brand, they launch an NFT pass, or it can be a content creator as well. They just have to have Shopify, they launch their pass. They get a URL for their customers to go to. The customers can then either purchase the pass in cryptocurrency like Ethereum, or we've integrated Crossman, meaning they can pay with their credit card, because we get that not everyone's going to have cryptocurrency to use nor care about it, so they can pay their credit card. In terms of ShopX luxury items, so to gain access to some of the luxury items on the ShopX site through MerchX, like whether it be like a Birkin bag or a Lamborghini or whatever high ticket item you can, you would have to have the tokenized ShopX software license. So our tokens function as software licenses. So for brands wanting to enter our ecosystem, they're required to get a certain amount of licenses. Yes, to answer your question, just a simple URL.
Yeah. So I guess you book a demo through the website. Is that
book a demo or download the app? It's up to you.
Download the app. So what is the process of? I mean, can just one person go through this thing? Or do they need to have like grandiose ideas? Do they need to not order an entire container ship from around the world? What is the minimum buy-in to starting out your first interaction with this product?
Probably $50 to $100. And the reason it's $50 to $100 is for every transaction that has to happen on Ethereum, you pay something called gas, which is essentially just saying like a tax. You make it to make the Ethereum network go run. But as a brand launching your NFT collection, you're the one launching the collection, so you own it, so you have to pay the gas. So it's not even something that ShopX pays. As a matter of fact, we always recommend brands take like a crawl, walk, run approach. Like there's no need to, unless you want to go big or go home. But like, hey, might as well test it out for a bit, mess around, see if it works for you, see if it doesn't. Try something or don't try something.
Now, is this better for retail? Like, do you want to sell stuff? Is it better for services, or does it matter? Like,
in the long run, it's gonna be better for everyone. It's better for retail because they get their connection with their customer. It's better for the brand because they get additional revenue without shipping out a product, and they know who their customers are, and they get higher conversions. Long term, so what ShopX's overall vision is, we want to tokenize the world's products, and that creates a liquid market for products. So right now, if you want to sell products on, you want to create an online store, you sell products on Amazon, your Shopify store, you're stuck using those centralized services. But if everyone tokenized everyone's products, everyone can sell anyone's products from any site. So you could sell like a Nike, Adidas, or Reebok, any product from your site. If someone makes a purchase from your site, you get a commission, Nike gets a sale, customer gets the product, so everyone's happy. So this creates like, because e-commerce products are actually pretty illiquid, but this creates a liquid version of products everywhere. But I want to point out that this is one of those products where it's like, sure, one brand does it, it's kind of stupid. But let's say one brand does it, it's whatever. 10 brands does it, that's something. Then 100 brands do it, that's something more, and just gains power as more people enter the ecosystem. So we're in market penetration mode right now, which is why we're targeting high-end luxury products at first. Because again, like there are two ways to connect the NFT to the product, and we use an NFC chip, meaning like you take out your phone, it picks up the NFC chip into a product, it scans, it connects that way. You can also do it at the supply chain level, but overhauling the supply chain level for a major brand, that's obviously a much bigger sell, and that honestly is going to take forever. So,
but that's just an operating cost. I mean, that's part of just doing business, is that you have a minimal cost. If you have a luxury item, it's definitely, the luxury item will envelop that bit of cost. And I guess if you, part of what you're trying to do is secure the transaction. So you have a luxury item that's somewhere, and it's hard to trust putting a ton of money into something that is somewhere else, that it is guaranteed. So I would imagine that
it handles the authentication of a luxury item. So like, as a brand, you can be like, okay, this product sold once, twice, 3 times, passed a change owners this many times, and then you can get your royalties, but you get that data. But from the customer side, you can track it back to like Nike, for example, because like let's say you buy a shoe from a third-party user, like on StockX or something. It's like, okay, well, StockX is the one who verified it, but could I really trust ShopX or StockX? But now you can check the NFT, you can trace it back to the factory that Nike produced it from. This has a lot of side effects, and again, like this is even more out in the future. Like everyone's still messing around, but that's just from something we're trying to build too.
Very cool, man. Very neat.
We'll find out.
How much time do you have?
Like -4 minutes.
That's what I thought. All right, last thoughts, Eric. Because we've grilled you pretty hard about this stuff. We do it with just interest. Not to prove anything, just to kind of better understand it.
No politics tonight.
I could tell your intentions were good. Like, because again, like if you can't ask questions, that's kind of stupid, anyways.
Right.
You have to be able to ask questions.
Sure.
Well, we like to give the guests the last thoughts. So could be an adage, a riddle, a joke. It could be something completely lame. It could be something really cool.
Oh,
what do you want to leave us with? What do you want to plug, et cetera, et cetera? What do you want people to know? Go.
So I'm gonna go with the lame aspect because lame is the name of the game. So I think everyone is a conscious creator, whether you know it or not. So when you're consciously creating your lifestyle, my only request is don't harm anyone or don't take anything away from anyone, and you should be good to go. And I want to plug out the Vipassana meditation just one more time. So if that would interest you, please check it out. It's free. There's centers all across the world. If you don't like it, you can just leave.
That's great.
Right on.
Thank you for coming by, and I feel informed. I certainly in doing research for this stuff.
Ooh, those are good.
I know.
Yeah, dude. Chicago's there. It is.
Yeah. You got some notes.
You know what's up.
That's great.
That's funny.
So thanks for. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's lead them out, and we'll rock and roll.
All right, we'll lead out, and I'll hit the right buttons, maybe. This is, as we do every Thursday, it's exactly 7. We do this thing called Geeky Gamer Podcast.
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in tonight with Eric McHugh. Scored by all lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt. Our Patreon members are our live support. Tim Roberts, Daniel Holker, Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline. Couchfire Media brings art and media production as well as
sometimes.
Yeah, Trois Replay Productions that brings
those
it.
Guys. Jeez.
Do you want to take a break, or are we done?
I think we're good, man. We're good. Eric's got to bounce.
But honestly, dude, it was great chatting with both of you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.